for me a fun comedy adventure right there. Natural Born Killers. Very, very violent film. A love story that can be very sickening and yet compassionate unless if you're that fucked up in the head. The Simpsons like only like what, 4 episodes on this damn thing? Yeah, I got this when I was like years ago. It's alright. I would rather get the actual show on DVD. Anger Management. Little Nicky. I will eat your heart. Yes, folks. As you know so far in the video, that I kind of made some references to some films, but not all the way. Not every movie, just a little bit. Mr. Deeds. Big Daddy. And Happy Gilmore. Wanna Get Billy Madison also. Now the next film I have is a really underrated and I think should have been more appreciated sci-fi film with Christian Bale, and that movie is Equilibrium. Long story short about this film, first heard about on YouTube when I was going through some videos about Ultraviolet, and thankfully this happened to come up in the same section somehow. Thankfully it did. It was a mashup video between Equilibrium and Ultraviolet, which was created by the same guy who made this movie, Kurt Wimmer, who directs and writes the films. And of course you gotta have Ultraviolet. I know this movie wasn't so well appreciated when it came out, but there's a lot of fans that like this film, that are behind this film. And unrated extended cut, I don't see anything too different except when you see her ass when she's walking down. Oh, that's hot. Of course, we expect that of me. I'm not too surprised about that one. But yeah, this was created by the same guy who did Equilibrium. And as much as I love this fucking chick, I'm a fan of her work. As much as I have a thing for her and her stuff in general. But if I were to pick in between both of these movies, I would actually take this over Ultraviolet. And you don't have to explain to me why, because obviously we all know which one is the more better film. I mean, I like Ultraviolet. I know the effects are not that 100% perfect, but and I know the effects are not that great, but they're not too bad. And I mean, it looks more like a cartoony thing. Yes, folks, they actually had an anime of it. I don't know what the hell happened to that. I looked up on the internet and I noticed they didn't really make too many episodes after like when they started off. Seen like probably a little bit of it on YouTube. Sad part is there's no dubbing, there's no subtitles, because I can't sit through that. I don't understand that shit. But it's based on this movie, well, based on the characters created by Kurt Wimmer. And it kind of makes sense to me, anime for Ultraviolet, because it's looks like a live action anime. Let's put it like that. Just the looks of it alone, even the story has that anime feel to it. And for some reason, I don't know what the fuck it is, either because it came out like it's like not too far from one another, even though this came out like a little later in '06, like early '06 when it came out, and Eon Flux came out like late '05. So for some reason they both, I don't know why I'm not comparing them. I don't know why maybe it's the whole future thing, the whole lead female. There's just certain things about it that kind of reminds me of Eon Flux, but the more I think about it, I kind of like this better than Eon Flux. I mean, Eon Flux was alright, but I prefer the cartoon to that. Because that's just me, I guess. Now the second two films, I know a lot of people who just, I don't know, for the fans of, oh, you've seen it. Resident Evil and Resident Evil Apocalypse. I like the games too, folks. Yes, I know about the games. I know the story to it. And yes, I like the games. I play them. I have Nemesis, I have all of them. But I don't mind the movies. I try to look at them as an outsider, even though it's going to be annoying to deal with. But other than that, I don't mind them. Resident Evil Extinction, even though that gets shit, but I know I can understand why with that one too. Fuck yeah. And there's Afterlife, which I'll see. And these will be reviewed like later in the future when that movie Afterlife comes out. So I'll review those eventually. And the next three I'm going to show you is The Fifth Element, Resident Evil Degeneration. Yes, folks, the real evil, with the one with the real Claire Redfield, not that Alley Lauder crapfest version of her version of Claire, because she did not. It was just all terrible when they put her in Extinction. But I felt more satisfied when I saw her, because that's the real Claire. So with that annoying lighting. But in Degeneration, we get the real Claire Redfield, and we get Leon for once. Sadly, there ain't gonna be Leon in Afterlife. Fucking dickheads. Of course, they cut him out. The one character I could have been interested in seeing, because I grew up with him. But then again, like I said before in the past, if seeing ain't do it, you know what? It won't go well anyway. They'll probably ruin him anyway. Like these movies ever get the main real characters right, they always make them half-assed. But I don't mind the movie though. Plus, hopefully, you get Wesker right. Yeah, we have Scary Movie. I know I have Scary Movie 2 somewhere. Don't know where I put it though. Don't know where the sequel is. I know I have it laying around somewhere. But I do have it though. And then we got another trilogy of films. Blade 2, and Blade Trinity. Not my favorite though, but the first two Blades were awesome. And Blade 2 had a pretty good cast too, and had some good fight sequences. But the third one I wasn't too fond with, but I don't mind it either. The third one's like this for me. Part of it, me kind of likes it, but the other half tells me it's crap. It's like, no, it's not that good of a film, but it doesn't really affect me as much for some reason. Can't say I'm honest. Yeah. And these DVDs, and can you believe I go through all this trouble? I buy all these DVDs, and freaking you never know what you're gonna get out of it, because you never realize how much movies you got until you actually go right through them, because you know there's a lot of movies once you actually look at your shelf, but when you're trying to go through them, it's like, holy fuck, it's a lot of movies. And it certainly is, and I'm going to be on the floor now, so embrace yourself for me getting shorter so suddenly on the camera. Now, we're on the lower section. Now the next movies I want to show is Predator 2, Ghostbusters 1 and 2, that was close, The Goonies, holiday favorite of mine growing up, the Santa Claus. The first season of Saturday Night Live. Encino Man. As you can see, I'm not even getting into detail. I'm just saying the names of the movie because I just want to make this video and just end it. And before I continue on, once again, another movie. I have Scary Movie 2, but I don't know where the hell it is. I know I either have it on the shelf somewhere, or I don't know what happened to that fucking movie, but I have Scary Movie 2 also. It's laying around somewhere. But I know I can find it, unlike